Hello everyone, my name is Bryn and welcome back to my channel. Here on Bryn Darcy, I usually talk about life and study at the Australian National University in Canberra, obviously in Australia, and what your life could be like if you studied here as well. However, I recently graduated and I am now changing some of the things I talk about on this channel. Oh, it's a little bit windy here. I'm now changing some of the things I talk about on this channel, sharing more about my life, my travel and my businesses, instead of focusing only on my life at university, I suppose. So in the coming videos, I am going to be sharing my experiences living in Spain, at least for a month, while we wait for some visas and other things for our future employment, basically. And yeah, we're living here in the south of Spain. It's been lovely so far. Today I have an iced coffee with some ice cream in it, because why not, I'm on holiday. But in today's video I'm going to be sharing how our experience went as we travelled from Australia to Europe and what that was like every step of the way. So first of all, things we needed to do before traveling. So obviously we are still living in a COVID era, so we wanted to prepare ourselves prior to departure to make sure that we had everything we needed to head overseas. Now first of all, we made sure that we had our valid passports and travel documents, obviously, which you should always do before traveling. But we also checked the requirements of our airline, and on Qantas you needed to be vaccinated to fly, so we had to get our international vaccine like card, QR code, passport thing. And then we also needed we potentially needed a negative COVID test to enter into Europe. Now at the moment the information about this is quite conflicting, so it was a little bit difficult for us to figure out what we needed, but the government website said we needed to have a COVID test. Could have either been a rapid antigen test or a proper PCR test for travel. We decided to go with the proper one for travel. It cost us $300 to do the test for both of us, and in the end we didn't need to show it to anybody, so that's not ideal. So we ended up getting the COVID test. That was all well and good. We arrived at the airport, we presented our vaccine, and we never had to present the COVID test. And then we flew onward to Europe. So we then flew onward from Sydney to Perth, and from Perth to Italy, and then on to Spain, and we weren't asked for our vaccine anything or our negative COVID test at any point, basically. I would also like to share a little bit about today's sponsor for this video, italki. So prior to leaving for Spain, I did some lessons on italki to practice my Spanish and to make sure that I could communicate in the local language once we arrived. Now obviously my partner is Spanish, so I do have somewhat of an advantage there, but we still only speak English at home, so being able to go online and do language lessons from the comfort of my own home was a big plus when I was trying to improve my Spanish skills before we travel. In the description down below I have a discount code for you. So the next part of our journey was actually on the plane. Now on the plane with Qantas from Sydney to Perth you were required to wear a mask, and from Perth onwards we were not required to wear a mask at any point. We chose to wear a mask for the whole journey because obviously ventilation in aeroplanes is not fantastic, and as no one was having to present negative COVID tests, we were concerned about getting COVID on the plane. Spoiler alert, we didn't get COVID, but we were very conscious about not exposing ourselves, so disinfecting everything and wearing masks the whole journey basically, obviously except when we were eating and drinking. But once we're on the plane we wear our masks, and then apart from that there wasn't really any differences traveling. It was quite a long journey because we were obviously doing the Perth to Europe leg, which is longer than the other the other breakdowns of journeys you can take. So you can also take a like travel that stops in Singapore or in Doha or Dubai or Bangkok, I think, as well. But ours was a little bit longer than those. It was 16 hours for just that one leg, or 16 and a half, I think. But basically for that, Lewis slept most of it, and I tried to just keep myself occupied. I found it very difficult to sleep on the plane. But yeah, it is what it is. Once we arrived in Italy, however, there was still really like not that much that we had to do. Like, it was miraculous how easy the process of international travel was post-COVID, considering how difficult it seemed to be before. But yeah, basically we arrived in Italy, we got our tickets printed for our onward journey, and then we just basically had to go through security again, and that was it. Like, there was nothing else was required. We waited in the airport lounge, as you will see in the first vlog that I did. We then waited in the airport lounge for frequent, it was like a frequent flyers one. Can't remember who owns the lounge, but basically we waited in the lounge for a while, and then we headed off to our gate. We had some trouble there because I previously lived in Italy, and I briefly explained this in my blog. Basically, I wasn't like deregistered. They didn't know that I'd left Italy. Obviously I'd left Italy years ago, and yeah, there was just some problems there at the border, but we solved them quite quickly, and then we were off on our onward journey. Once we arrived in Spain, because obviously we're then flying within the Schengen zone, there was nothing that we needed to do. We just arrived. Quickly, this briefly outlines the things we needed to do to travel. It was surprisingly easy, and even though we prepared, or maybe over-prepared for the journey, I think that was the best approach to have, as we weren't concerned about missing anything, and we were ready to provide whatever was asked of us, even though nothing was in the end. I was really glad that we did it that way. So thank you for watching today's video, and if you're interested in hearing more about our travels and what we're up to with our lives at the moment, please just give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below, and I will get back to you. Bye guys!